the silent school bus. The first thing I noticed was how still everything was. Usually the morning fog crawls lazily over the cracked sidewalks, muffling the town in that sleepy haze only early hours can bring. But today it felt heavier somehow, like it was pressing down, waiting. The bus, our old clanking, rattling school bus, sat at the curb, door slightly ajar, and not a whisper of the usual chaos drifted from it. No engine hum, no shouting kids, no driver waving from his seat. Just silence. I hesitated, heart thumping in that familiar rhythm that always shows up right before something unusual happens. Ordinary me, average grades, average friends, average everything, felt that old tug, that craving for the spark that would remind me I existed. The invisible life I sometimes feared was creeping up on me, and curiosity, reckless and relentless, pulled me forward. I climbed the first step, hand shaking slightly on the chipped metal railing. The smell hit me first, dust and something else, something like burnt sugar, faint but unmistakable. The seats were empty, the windows fogged from the morning chill. Everything inside whispered that it shouldn't be like this, yet my feet carried me down the aisle as if the bus itself had called me in. I glanced to the driver's seat, empty, steering wheel untouched, but a faint scratch, a gouge in the vinyl, deep and recent, ran across the dash. A shiver ran down my spine. Something was off. Not just a little off, not the maybe the driver is late off, but a visceral wrong off that pressed against my chest and made breathing feel deliberate, cautious. And still, I moved toward the back, drawn by that reckless curiosity that had led me to climb into abandoned houses, peek through boarded windows, and ignore warnings that should have kept me safe. Today, though, curiosity felt heavier, sharper, almost alive. It was then I noticed the sound, or rather, the lack of it. No creaks from the suspension, no wind rattling the windows, nothing. And yet, I could swear I heard a soft, almost imperceptible whispering, like the bus itself was breathing. I should have turned back, but I didn't. The bus jolted without a sound, tires rolling over pavement that seemed to vanish beneath us. My stomach dropped. The morning fog thickened into a suffocating white haze, curling through the windows like ghostly fingers. I blinked and realized something impossible. The other kids weren't moving. Their faces were blank, eyes wide, staring straight ahead or through me. Their whispers didn't come from their lips. I heard it behind me, brushing my ear like a cold breath. "Didn't you hear the rules?" I spun toward the driver's seat, empty as before. My fingers scrabbled at the door handle, locked. I called out, voice trembling, echoing uselessly against the metal frame. The bus had a rhythm now, a pulse I could feel under my feet, carrying me forward into streets that weren't streets. Houses leered from fog-shrouded corners, windows dark, paint peeling, yards overtaken by weeds. Some were places I didn't recognize, though the architecture hummed familiar, like memories warped. I knew no one lived there, couldn't have lived there, for decades. The fog thickened, twisting against the bus like it had intent, clawing at the metal walls, slipping through cracks around the windows. Shadows stretched and reached, bending in ways they shouldn't, and I felt the weight of invisible eyes pressing on my back. My palms were slick on the cold metal of the seat as I tried to move, tried to pull myself toward the exit that refused to yield. And then the kids started disappearing. Soft pops, like bubbles bursting underwater, and a seat that had been next to me was suddenly empty. I scrambled backward, clutching the pole, heartbeat hammering against my ribs. A girl who had been whispering something indecipherable just a second ago vanished without a trace. Another boy's blank eyes flicked toward me, lips moving soundlessly, and then he was gone. I realized I could be next. My chest tightened. Every instinct screamed to escape, but the bus had other plans. It rolled, silent, endless, deeper into fog-thickened streets that shouldn't exist, carrying me into a place that smelled of rust, rot, and something far worse. The whisper came again, this time right behind me, cold and slow. Rules aren't suggestions. And then I understood. This wasn't a bus ride. This was something else. Something alive, waiting for me to slip, to break the rules, to vanish. I stumbled toward the back of the bus, fighting against the tilt. The floor wasn't level anymore. It felt like the bus was slowly tipping sideways, gravity dragging us toward nowhere. Seats groaned, metal strained, and that fog outside the windows churned like a storm waiting to swallow us whole. My breath came in sharp, frantic bursts. I kept telling myself, move, Move now. I reached the emergency exit. The red handle gleamed like salvation. My fingers closed around it, ice cold. I yanked. Hard. Nothing. Harder. And then click. The window pane snapped upright. But instead of the outside world, I saw me. Not just a reflection, another version of me, sitting 3 rows from the front. Still, blank-eyed, just like the others, watching me with a lifeless, glassy stare. My stomach lurched. I whipped my head toward that 3rd row seat. It was empty. But in the glass, the other me leaned forward, as if to whisper. The bus lurched again, now nearly horizontal. A low groan pulsed through its metal frame, like a creature waking up. The floor vibrated. I felt it in my bones. Not motion, hunger. This wasn't a vehicle. It was a trap. A liminal cage built from routine and ritual and the quiet moments we never questioned. The whisper returned, no longer soft. It roared inside my skull. You wanted to feel alive. This is the price. My hands shook. The fog outside the open hatch didn't lead to ground. There was no street, no earth, just a vast, swirling void of pale nothingness, like the world had ended and only this moment remained. I could stay, become another silent passenger, a soul preserved in stillness, forgotten, invisible forever. Or I could jump into nothing. No guarantee of survival, no promised escape, just the chance of being real again. The bus tipped further. Screws clattered loose, seats snapped. A distant hollow pop sounded, one more passenger gone. I planted my foot on the edge of the emergency hatch. My heart hammered like it was trying to break out of my chest. Better to disappear fighting, I whispered to myself, voice steady for the first time. And I jumped. My body hit the ground hard enough to knock the air out of me. I gasped, choking on cold fog and the metallic taste of panic. The world around me blurred for a second. Light, pavement, sky, until it snapped back into place with a jarring clarity. I was lying in the street near my neighborhood, the old maples arching overhead like nothing had happened. Just another quiet morning, just another school day. Except behind me, from somewhere inside the fog, the bus let out a long, dragging screech, its first sound since I stepped onto it. The engine coughed, sputtered, then roared like something had finally remembered how to breathe. I twisted onto my elbows just in time to see the faintest silhouette of it fade into the mist, vanishing as though the fog swallowed it whole. No kids, no driver, no movement, just gone. My heart hammered in my throat. Every nerve in my body buzzed. I reached for something familiar, something grounding. And there, sitting neatly at the curb, was my backpack. Right beside it, my notebook, pages bent and smudged with grime, like it had been tossed onto the pavement. Proof, or a warning. I picked up the notebook with trembling fingers, flipping through the pages. Everything was the same. My homework, my doodles, a grocery list my mother had scribbled on the back of a worksheet. Completely normal. So normal it felt wrong. I straightened and looked around. A jogger passed by, earbuds in, oblivious. A car rolled down the street, music playing faintly through the window. A porch light flicked off as someone left for work. The world was awake, moving, alive. Yet I couldn't shake the sense that something had followed me back. A sharp flicker drew my eyes upward. The streetlight closest to my house, tall, rusted, humming with electricity, was pulsing. Not flickering randomly, but blinking in a slow, deliberate rhythm. On, off, exactly like the silent warning lights inside the bus. And beneath the rhythm, faint but unmistakable, I heard it. A horn, low, distant, calling. I took a step backward, notebook clutched to my chest. My breath fogged the air in front of me. The world was awake, but so was something else. I walked home slowly, the fog clinging to my clothes like damp memory. Every crack in the sidewalk, every rustle of leaves made me jump, but nothing attacked, nothing spoke. The neighborhood was quiet, ordinary, and yet my pulse refused to settle. I could still feel the bus beneath my feet, its cold metal heartbeat echoing in my chest. Did it really happen? Or had it been a warning disguised as a nightmare, a lesson etched into fog and steel? I ran my fingers over my backpack, over the crumpled notebook, searching for answers that didn't exist. Curiosity had always been my weakness, the trait that led me into abandoned houses, dark woods, and now, whatever that bus had been, maybe some doors weren't meant to be opened. I reached my front porch and glanced back down the street. The streetlight nearest my house pulsed one last time. On, off, on. A faint, low horn echoed in the distance, almost playful, almost patient. as if it were counting the moments until its next passenger arrived. My stomach sank. I swallowed hard and shook my head, trying to convince myself it was only imagination, but deep down I knew better. Whatever had pulled me aboard that bus still existed, somewhere, waiting, watching. I'd survive, yes, but the lesson was carved into my nerves. Curiosity is a door, and some doors lead only to silence. I unlocked my front door and stepped inside, letting it shut behind me, as the familiar creak grounding me in reality. I was safe, for now, but I couldn't shake the feeling that reality had thinned, that the edges of the world might ripple again with something I couldn't see. The bus might return, and next time, maybe I wouldn't be lucky. Thank you for listening and watching this story unfold. If it sent chills down your spine or made your curiosity tingle, like this video to help support the channel's growth. Subscribe for daily content that dives into stories, suspense, and the unknown. And share this video with someone who thrives on thrills or could use a reminder that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. There's another video on your screen that will pull you even deeper into the strange and uncanny. And remember, somewhere out there, through fog and silent streets, a bus waits. It's patient and it never forgets. We'll see you back here tomorrow.